2, 1. We are live, Nick.
What up,
Welcome.
YouTube? Welcome to the Hi There Show. I'm Nick Brunt. With me is Ian Conrad. What up, Ian?
Hello. Hey. Not much. Not much is up. I'm ready to design. I've been designing all day. My wrist is a little sore, but that's not going to stop me because I'm ready to have some fun.
Are you getting the designer's carpals?
The designer's carpals. Yep,
Are they
something's going
sneaking
on.
up on you?
The carpals are tunneling through me. I don't know.
Directly through my wrist. Yeah, I've had pains in my wrist before, and I'm deathly afraid that it's my sitting at a desk and drawing all day lifestyle.
Yeah, I've got to move into like some kind of management position, I think. I don't have much time left.
Something where you're walking the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have the same. Oh, no, we don't have the same color cursors. Never mind. Your cursor matches the background that I set up for us.
Perfect. I love it. It's like a little cue card.
Cool. All right. What are we doing today, Nick?
What's our we were talking about
challenge?
What's our design challenge? Design challenge of the week. Well, we were talking about dashboards. I've been working on these a lot lately. I don't know about you, but clients just love those dang things, and they're moving graphics and their infographics. So we figured we kind of like break it down here tonight.
We're talking dashboards. Yeah, that's right. You know them and you love them. And Nick said it. Clients love to buy them. So let's learn how to make them. Let's make the best dashboard that there can be. The final dashboard, as they say.
The final dashboard.
So I know dashboard can mean a million different things, probably. So Nick, when you say dashboard, what's in your brain?
It's funny because when we were talking about doing this episode, dashboard to me was a series of infographics with high level numbers that let you know how whatever you're doing with this dashboard is doing. But that being said, I think it's a little more complicated than that. I mean, designers are going to come across this a lot. People want to be able to log in and get an overview of how their account is doing. So that could be a social account. That could be some sort of software as a service thing, like a MailChimp or I don't know, what's another service with a dashboard?
Analytics, like Google Analytics.
Google Analytics is a good one. Yeah, that counts. I wonder how many people watching the stream right now have actually logged into a Google Analytics account. More should. If you own a website, you should have Google Analytics running. It's really, really easy. Or at least it used to be. It's not anymore, is it?
I haven't kept up with it. That's for sure. Yeah, dashboards. They do a lot of things. I always think of them as a place that pulls in stuff, content, information from other places, usually like within your app. So like what you were saying, pulling in little bits of info from, across your app. It could be like performance numbers. I've worked on dashboards that are simple, and it's just like, here's like all of the tasks that you have. You've got some calendar stuff going on here. You've got some to-dos over here, and you've got this and that. Kind of like, I wouldn't call it a project management dashboard, but kind of, I guess.
But at the end of the day, it's all the same thing where all your high level information, all your data points are getting pulled in to sort of give you an overview of what's going on.
Yeah, and at a glance. So what do we want to make a dashboard for?
What do we want to make a dashboard for?
I mean, do we have to decide?
We're calling this the final dashboard.
So we were talking, you mentioned something about like personal metrics.
Well, yeah. So the idea is when you're creating these things that you're pulling in statistics, usually that you would consider comparative statistics, or that there's a second statistic that you can compare it against. And that keeps the user motivated to doing things. So, you set little goals, like in a gamification scenario, you might see something that's like, you've done X of, 50 of this task to complete it. And once you run those numbers up, that task is completed. Damn, that was a bad explanation. But you know what I mean. radial graphs that compel users to do interesting things with your product. Bad explanation. Yeah, let's start it off with a bad explanation as to what comparative data is all about.
I was going to write down some notes, but
yeah, I'm just getting this file fired up. So we're making a dashboard that pulls in statistics, displays them in a visual way in a digital front end. I guess we're doing HTML here tonight is our best bet. You think? It's not like a native iOS app.
Web-based? Sure. Yeah, let's call it that. The dev will figure it out.
So, I mean, usually we're pulling in boring statistics like how many people have been to your site or how many people have read your article. YouTube actually feeds us a lot of those statistics while we're running a stream, like how many people are watching and how long they've been watching for. Those are kind of boring metrics. What if we looked a little higher level on that and we pulled in, imagine we could aggregate all the data that we wanted to. So instead of having dashboards for specific products and services that you enjoy on the internet on a day-to-day basis, we just have the dashboard that sort of quantifies you as a human. And then you really just need to check that out once a day. Like you don't need to go to the Instagrams or, you know, the TikToks to check how you're doing, to read your dashboards. You really just need to sort of look at this final dashboard, and that's going to tell you how you're doing in life.
Okay.
And that will be called like life.board. Can we register?
Oh, we probably shouldn't have said that out loud. Someone else is going to go do it. I know you can get a .board.
Can you get a .board?
I don't know.
That's fascinating.
Probably. I feel like you can. What am I doing? Okay, sorry. I'm just creating this little post-it note so we can write our ideas down. There, a happy post-it note.
.board domain. .board. For bulletin boards. No forums.
Way. Let me have a look on the old browserino here.
Prices. It's a German registrar.
Oh, I typed up board F. I messed up already. .board. Okay. We can't. Oh, okay, so they do exist. This Hover doesn't offer them. But who cares?
No, we will figure that out. We do need life.
We'll get that. Life.board. Lifeboard. Oh, man. I'm starting to... When you mentioned social media, I started to think of something.
Well, so... And
it was this... No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I literally cut you off as soon as you started to tell a story, so... I feel like
it was about Elon Musk and how he had changed his own... He's changed his title to like Techno King. And somehow that inspired me.
It was like King of Crypto or something.
Okay.
Or somebody Master of Crypto was the other guy in his company that changed his name. I guess, yeah. I mean, if you make $1 billion off of cryptocurrency, that's maybe a good idea for your title.
Elon.
And I would know because I'm pretty deep into crypto.
Yeah,
I'm like way crypto.
That secret crypto mine.
I got that secret crypto mine. You hear humming in the background. It is not my natural gas furnace in this Canadian winter. That's my crypto farm.
I'm not going to tell your neighbor that you're siphoning off their power either.
Oh, it's a whole thing, dude. I have a generator and I have to go scoop out buckets full of wetland and just shove it right in there to burn it up for my crypto mine. But I got that crypto.
You gotta have.
I got that crypto.
Well, okay. So what kinds of what are you thinking here? We want what's a metric of life? Like
I think as designers, I think as a gaggle of designers here, we can all agree that it should start with some sort of chart or graph. Like maybe a line graph. I don't know what the data points for the line graph are going to be, but let's know.
Okay, well,
I think
it's the first.
This is good UX.
It's
really is starting with what you want to do.
it's just we want to make something that looks cool out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean that's what's going to get the angel investors in place. That's what's going
So
to get the capital.
let's spitball here a line graph. Let's say that represents our day. So maybe there's like it's an hourly on the x axis. That's the one that goes along the bottom. Maybe that is uh like time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what is it measuring? Like how
Success.
success over time. This I
Success over time. We're gonna have to take some time to define success.
well,
That's why we're UX designers. We're gonna do the research.
we're
You know,
yeah,
figure that
Are
out.
we though?
That whole niggly success thing. I'm just making some lines in our
Let's
old
make a
friend
nice
illustration.
line graph. Let's frame this
Is there
whole this beast. Frames are like divs. Everything's just got to be in one.
divs on divs on divs? Okay, I'm pulling in a cool line graph.
Cool.
I don't believe that there's a charting tool in Figma kicking around.
No.
So I had to
Probably
use those
plugins.
scornful Adobe products. It's okay. We get some lines there. That is just a stroked vector. So I can grab all those. I could color them, but I'm going to do the lazy thing and just make them opaque. I don't know. Do you ever come across that in files where you've been handed a file and rather than things being colored, they're tinted by being made opaque? When all you really need is a hex value? Am I whining about nothing?
Is this like a problem?
More like a thing I'm whining about openly. Oh, cool. You're getting the labels in there. Love it.
Gotta label your charts or people get mad. I work with a bunch of market researchers, so I know how that works. Label your charts. So this is going to be good. Let's like hone in on Nick as he designs this.
I feel like I may be putting this together the wrong way, but we're going to take a shot. So normally when I start something like this, the first thing I do is talk to my front end team or my development team about what's possible. So, we want to chart data. It's going to be live data. It's going to be this and that. You got to sit down and figure out what's possible in terms of libraries that you can work from. Chart.js is a really popular one that I like to start with. I think chart.js is kind of the only one I use. So, I mean, for the purposes of right now, we're like wireframing this or whatever, but I think if you're in real production mode, you're going to want to think about what kind of chart you want. If that makes sense. You don't want to get too custom.
Yeah, we have a library that we use as well that we kind of have to reference just to see what's possible, But today anything's possible. Is it? Isn't it? Does chart.js look good? Because we want our charts to look good. I could start making some lines. I like to make lines.
Make some lines.
A little line. Nice. I wish I could round that. Actually, I know what I'll do.
Yeah, rounded edges on complex shapes is kind of what's got me jumping out of here a lot, like into Illustrator or whatever. Not that I mind. It's a wonderful piece of software.
Or should it be one of those like trendy, like wavy? I actually don't know how to make that happen. You know those like wavy chart lines that don't come to like a hard point? Am I making any sense?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
They look cool. They bother me in a way because I don't think they should work like that, but they look neat.
They're a little bit inexact.
Yeah, that's the right.
Like you're not getting like a tight charted view if you have like a nice swooping curvy line through here. Let's see if I can draw.
Squarespace does that with their stats, and it's weird.
It is nice. I mean, I think in these situations, the exact value almost doesn't matter. I mean, sometimes in situations related to, I guess, services in people's day-to-day lives and stuff. For the most part, people just want to see if the line is going like up or down. Like, where am I in relation to where I want to be? So that's where you see smaller graphs where the line is a little less exact, or the labels are a little less exact, or whatever. Okay, so we have success over time. Now,
so what's this wake up? What time do you wake up? 7 a.m.?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
I was gonna put some rough.
I wake up a little bit earlier, but that's fine. I mean, I feel like I'm probably
maybe you don't.
I feel like I'm seizing the day.
So you don't feel successful when you wake up, Nick? Tell me about that.
No. I mean, usually instead of success, it's more like the weight of the day, the crushing tidal weight of the day on my shoulders.
The crushing horrors of reality.
Yeah, the sort of sucking void of the day you're about to embark on.
What is this little number? Wee.
All right, and we'll get some data values in here. That's a bad line. Holy smokes.
I wish I had like maybe it's got an auto smoothing feature we can use. No, I don't think so.
No, that's just a freehand line. Like, if you double click on it, you can see how there's a trillion Beziers in it.
Oh, you had a good meeting.
So I'm going to start to graphically design some of this. This is our 1440 canvas. Hold on, I'm gonna actually try and design this as if I was doing it in HTML. What time do we go to bed? What time does life.board expect you to go to bed? I feel like the world wants me to go to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, but I'm just too much of a rebel for that.
11 midnight. Well, maybe it should be 24 hours because you're successful when you're asleep. It doesn't end. So it's.
See, I don't know. I might disagree. Are you being successful when you sleep? You're just kind of wasting your time in sleeping.
Well, you asked that $1 million question, and I don't know if I'm successful when I'm sleeping. So I need like a chart to tell me. Maybe I'm not, but we'll never know. We don't monitor it.
Let's say 7 a.m. till 12 a.m. and then 12 a.m. till 6:59. 12:01 till 6:59. That's just like a dead zone. That's ghost world. You should be asleep.
It's 12 a.m. is midnight, right?
Yeah.
Technically, there's no 12 or a.m. or p.m. Fun fact.
Yeah, but you would say 12 a.m. when you're referencing midnight, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't. I would say midnight.
I guess midnight. That's one of those copy editing things, I think.
No one knows the difference between 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. PM means post meridian, which means afternoon. So
yeah,
it can't be
12 p.m.
It can't be noon.
Time.
If it's 12 p.m., it's after. It can't be noon and afternoon at the same time. So it doesn't exist.
I think 12 p.m. is lunchtime. 12 p.m. sandwich time.
Sandwich time. What else? Okay. I guess this chart should come in a bit. What's happening with this line? What does it do? It scales. That's good.
I'm clicking stuff around. Sorry. I'm going to ditch.
What do you measure success in? Success units?
So that's a good question. I think that we determine that with a series of aggregate data values down below here.
Emojis?
Ah, damn, that's a great idea. Maybe each one of these high-level things can have an emoji. So So with a dashboard design, we're graphing information up here. Sorry, I'm just going to pull some of that stuff out of the way. Now, typically what you would do with the user is follow up below here and show why these values. So I think in a good dashboard design, like obviously you're going to greet the user. It should say hello. It should say, here's where you're at. Here's why you're here's where you are. Here's why you're here. And here's where you can go next. Right.
Is there a more singular, like, is there a more singular success metric that I can reference? Like, this is my time scale, but is there like a number or a color or a letter that represents like where I'm at any given point?
So I think that's what we should hash out here.
A color wheel?
So we'll create some top level sections here. All right. Let's define success for our graph. What makes you a successful person? Job makes successful person.
Job title.
Job title. Okay, definitely. Cool.
Because I mean,
what's your job title? So we'll figure out numbers. We'll figure out values for these. But let's pick four. What are the four sort of like, you know, lower level points that are going to feed into success? So we got job title. We've got amount of friends.
Yep. Friend quantity.
Yeah. I like quantity. It's a little more quantity of friendship. All right. We got job, we got friends. What else? What else defines success for you?
Success. That is a great question.
So, amount of money. Let's get that in there.
Yes. Money, monetary value, your net worth, maybe.
Oh, amount of things owned.
Quantity of ownership.
Quantity of ownership. How many
things
what
owned?
Stuff?
We got job. I'm tired of. I don't like job title. It's number of jobs.
No, it doesn't. It's not do you know what I mean? Like we need to. It needs to have a number associated with it, and then we have to take that number and compare it to another number, and then we have what users would consider a compelling statistic, a motivating factor. I'm just going to tidy things up as we go. I've got this like canvas size totally out of whack, but we're going to just roll with it here.
That's good enough.
So maybe I should do this in some sort of HTML kind of fashion. So typically when you build these things, people who work on websites are all very familiar with grid systems. I'm too lazy to make a grid system, so I'm going to use shift arrow keys to make sure that these elements are equally spaced. And what's maybe the laziest move ever. Let's make those huge. The same column width as the graph would be nice.
Whoop. Let's get these.
Oh, sorry, you were doing a thing.
Just making our lives easier for the future.
I made this background too light. Now I'm like, man, we can make this look cool.
So if you think of
what's like a motivating life kind of software as a service color, I'm thinking blue.
I mean, blue's the color of trust, isn't it?
Yeah, that's blue is money and trust and sort of
All the banks and social medias
officiated
are blue.
institutions. Yeah, let's go with blue. This is how branding gets done, by the way. I actually feel like there's probably more than a few startups where their brands was exactly that conversation. Send it back. Send that back. Send that back. Cool. Nice sort of deep blue happening there. So what kind of measuring readouts can we use? What do we got? We got radial meters. We have bar meters. We have different kinds of charts. What's your preferred meter in a web design? Circle, a radial guy?
I like time scales. So I like bar charts or line charts. I don't like pie charts.
You don't like what charts?
I don't like pie charts because they're hard to read.
What about a Gantt chart?
I like a Gantt. I really like a Gantt chart. If we were doing some project management.
Oh yeah, you can manage this project a little bit. Be project owner.
$57.
Okay, so we're working on a row of.
Oop.
Sorry, I'm going to be moving this around. Working on a row of statistics that are going to describe this graph. So I get some labels happening here. As all good web services go, we should put the word my in front of titles as much as possible. So it's not a graph about your success, it's my success.
Oh yeah, I can't edit text because I don't have the fonts.
What fonts don't you have?
Muzio?
Oh, my bad. So if you don't have a font that I have, you just can't, they're like, no?
I can't even like center text. I get nothing. This is what happens when you don't have the font.
Is that better?
You get one of these. Oh, there we go.
Probably going to have to log into this at some point. So we should have some account stuff.
Logging in will be important, I believe.
Well, and I feel like when you sign into life.board, like when you're making an account for life.board, like we really want you to earn it. Like it should be like getting a bank account. Maybe designing the forms for that can be a different show.
Should be difficult. Yeah.
Really difficult.
That's part of the success. We want to know that if people are signing up for this, then they're in.
They're staying. All right. I
built us a grid.
Did you really build us a grid?
I guess that won't work with the icons though, will it?
That's okay. I mean, we can draw over top of it. Cool. Taking too long to make an icon. I do that constantly while I'm working. I'm like, I'm just going to dive over and I just need to mock up this icon really quick. And then I spend a half an hour on it.
Hello, cat.
Oh, we got a cat on stream. What up,
Come
cat?
design, Winston. No? All right.
What do you got going on?
What are we doing with these circles? There's going to be stuff in them, so I can't really make them, well, easily. I can't make them a component easily. I'll detach them all.
Okay, so we'll clear out the second row. Maybe we can just like copy this one out so we can work on it or whatever.
Yeah, I'll just clear all the components, because if you're going to do it with components, you've got to like do a whole thing.
Cool. All right, let's quantify friendship. How many friends do you have? And how many friends do you have versus how many friends should you have? I'm going to say that you probably have 14 friends. Oh, I see. It's trying to like put it into the component.
Oh, it's just grouped.
Let's say you have 14 friends. At your age, how many friends should you have? I'm going to say 40. Let's try and create a radial readout here.
What's a radial readout?
A radial readout, yeah. I guess nobody would know what that means. A radiograph. Let's pop in a real quick example.
Oh, radial. I thought you said radio.
No, radial.
Radial.
Is what I'm trying to build here. So I believe we can do this in Figma, so let's check it out. Because I know we can definitely make a pie, no problem. Can I just delete that point in Figma? I can. Sweet. So I can say done, and we can put a stroke on that.
Radial graph.
I'm not having any luck with Figma here this evening.
Yeah, they're all grouped.
What do you have for graphing elements?
Graphing elements? Circles? Bars? A bar chart?
Circles, bars? All right. Cool. Then I did it. Done. Pull that vertex out. No, not that. And then it converts it to a stroke like that. So if I center that one, then it should look okay. Hey, cool. Awesome. That was a very, very, very quick guide to designing a.
So that's a radiograph in Figma.
Or a radial meter, rather. What would you call that? Am I getting it wrong?
I don't know what you'd call it. It's a percentage. I don't know what the right way to describe it would be. So is it used to measure percentages?
Sure, we can measure whatever we want. What do you want to measure?
Well, that example shows the 75%. So to me, I'm looking at that and thinking that it's out of 100, and it's going to give me something out of 100.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like my current like success level?
I think that your current success level, this level up here,
these are finite, so they can't show quantities, right?
Yeah, so okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
They can only show things that add up to 100%. Like friends, like you could have a friends to enemies chart, and you could have like friends in green and enemies in red.
Okay.
Show like your breakdown. What other things add up to 100%? Like your breakdown of your pets.
Okay, so maybe we need to make a list. So we know we're making a dashboard and we want some data visualizations on there. So what are some high level points that we can draw, that we can use this area to sort of chart out?
Like I'm trying to think of like a more interesting way to say social credit score, like a modern day clout. Maybe I should. Does clout still exist?
Like
maybe,
the most important clout.
Maybe I don't need to say modern day. Clout? Klout? Clout was a website, according to Wikipedia. All right.
Is clout gone?
According to Wikipedia, it was a website, so it seems like it's gone. Closed the service on May 25th, 2018.
Wow. I had a cloud account. I don't remember how I did on it. They kind of did what we were talking about here, but specifically for social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got a clout score using Bing, Facebook, Foursquare, Google Plus, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Wikipedia, and YouTube. How does Wikipedia affect your clout score? How many Wikipedia articles you edit?
I guess so, but like there's no metric for a good post versus a bad post on Wikipedia, is there? Hits? Like how popular your Wikipedia post is?
I don't think that's the point of it. I think it's kind of.
Do you think people in the Wikipedia community are like you want to be the person who did the big write-up on the cool article?
Must.
Like if you're the guy who wrote the Wikipedia article for airplanes, like you're a big deal, versus the guy who wrote the Wikipedia article for like you know,
oh yeah,
the plastic widget on the inside of a Guinness can.
I did airplanes.
Yeah, at the Wikipedia convention, hanging out. No big deal. I wrote airplanes. Kind of a big deal around here.
Yeah, a lot of edits to trains. Like I can't take credit for it completely, but between you and I, it wouldn't be what it is without me. I can say that.
I got another one in here.
What about like the number of people that like how are we going to measure these things? The number of people that like smile at you during the day.
Is that what you see as success?
Kind of makes me feel successful. What kind of emoji can we get on here? I'm gonna make the watch app.
Have you ever seen the dashboard for Fitbit?
Yes, many, many, many years ago when I had a Fitbit when they came out.
I've never owned a Fitbit, but the most like modern version of that, it's really like it's almost like there's no numbers at all. It's just like a running icon and a meter and a color, and you just get your sort of vibes, from the graph.
Okay.
If it's red, you're doing bad. If it's green, you're doing good, and it sort of leaves you with an emotion.
I was about to say, like, is there some kind of like color spectrum we can use? This is gonna look ugly, but let's just see what I can. I've never played with gradients in Figma. There's no way that can work. How do you even do a gradient? You make a gradient in Figma. I don't
A
know.
gradient under your fill.
Oh, you can add two fills.
No, go into your fill, and up at the top you'll see like solid, linear, radial, angular, diamond, image. Diamond.
Fill. Linear. Interesting. I'm playing with the gradient. How do we make a gradient come out from the center?
There is a radial gradient option.
Do
you mean like a circular gradient?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Radial. Oh. See, this is like this is speaking to me somehow. Yikes. Okay, I don't know what I did. Its colors are bad. I've just created Jupiter with the red storm.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so things owned, that can be quantified.
Well, I mean, you can quantify it we can quantify them against a value that life.board believes that you should be achieving. So maybe you only own 8 things, but life.board feels like you need to be owning like 24 things. That's the life.board way.
Okay, so we're going to need some kind of
completely arbitrary numbers that we make up.
And an appropriate, I think, like some kind of alert or notification that's going to tell you, like, this is just a concept, but it's like maybe it's a push notification for your phone that tells you, maybe you need to, hey, you're walking by a store right now, buy something. And then that's how this will get monetized. Stores will pay money to be able to annoy people, assault them.
What was that app called? What was the app called way back in the day where you would like check into a restaurant?
Oh, Foursquare.
Foursquare.
It's like that, but it like instead of you deciding on your own to check in, this basically tells you that you're supposed to.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the crux of life.board is, you're going to sign up for what it wants and what it thinks of you, right?
Yeah, you don't have to think anymore.
No, exactly. You just need to check this board once a day and you'll know. Oh, that's a garbage way to do drop shadow. So Figma has drop shadows built into it.
You got to make your
And
you got to make your own. I just tried to do it too. They're not good.
I don't see like a lot of options for being able to affect it. Okay, no, I see them in there. I mean, it is a little advantageous to build stuff like this with the software you're using, especially like in Figma and XD, because you know that it can be recreated in CSS. But I mean, come on, if you made a drop shadow before, you know how to do it.
Two drop
You got to drop that
shadows.
shadow. Drop that shadow way down.
Blur.
This is starting to look like a real Web 2.0 website.
Web 2.0. Alert. Where did my text go? Figma, what are you doing? Where's friends? Alert. What are we? Life.board? Life.board recommends. I can't spell at all anymore.
Hold on, it's on the internet. What were you trying to spell?
Life.board recommends you. Whew. That's one thing I like about XD is it checks your spelling as you type.
That's it. I actually think there's some things that it just straight up auto replaces, and it's really annoying. I'm getting a bunch of weird monitor hiccups. I'm going to pause my feed for 2 seconds, and I will be right back.
Oh, okay. I'll hold down the fort, Nick. Okay. What am I going to do? What am I doing? I'll do some boring Figma stuff. I'm going to make an alert. What does an alert need to have inside of it? It needs to have some text. I'm not going to make it bold. An alert would have a title. I'm going to have a content area. What else do we have inside our alert? Hurry, I got to do this before Nick gets back. I need a title. I got to bold the title. Oh, no. Hit Command V instead of Command whatever. It needs a close thing. I'm just going to cheat and use an X. It makes it feel complete. It wouldn't feel right if it didn't have this. Speed run. Okay. I'm just going to make some action items here. You know it's an action item because it looks like a link because it's underlined. Yeah. That's what we've got.
Is a link an action item?
Actually, we're not going to give... sure. We're not going to give people the option to say no. We're going to call it auto buy and ship.
Yeah.
So I group all these bad boys together. Auto layout. That is terrible. I need to group these. There we go. Wait.
That's a pretty nice alert box.
We'll we'll call it a success for now. It's conceptual. Look, I'm naming my frames. Alert.
So handy.
And we can now add more stuff to our alert. Boo-da-boo-da-boo. All right, we made an alert. So we've got some stuff going on here. I was just
still slogging away at these values.
Saying in that break that we have this alert that will pop up. Maybe, you know, we can have that here as just an idea to think about, you know, of the things that, you know, now that we're starting to get to the core of maybe what this is going to be able to do for us, how can we automate some of these things, and how can we make life.board work for our users without them having to do anything because they're so busy being successful? Maybe we can...
really, I totally agree. It's about being able to check this board and know that things are happening. That's what life.board is all about.
Oh, so it's updating in real time?
Yeah, I would say that this is all real-time data being aggregated from our various sources. So let's maybe pull these in so they're associated with the graph a little bit. Like right now they're broken out here. Can you hear me? Am I coming through?
Yep, I'm pissed off at my drop shadow. There we go. That's pretty good.
Oh, see, I thought I was the drop. All these years, I thought I was the drop shadow that you were yelling at.
I'm dropping shadows, yo.
So yeah, so I'm gonna pull these circles in and make these values feel a little more affiliated with the graph. Let's try and make them a little more stylish.
Yeah, how do we make those look good? Are you shadow? What's your secret, Nick? Tell us.
I'm going thin stroke for now, Ian.
Just a thin stroke.
Little inside baseball there. You know what? Let's go 2-pixel stroke. Boom, we're kind of up there. We're kind of up there with that chunky, no-named look. But we do sort of want to associate a fun sort of lifestyle vibe to this whole thing. So we'll get there. No, maybe we'll go solid colors in here. I have attributed some arbitrary values in here. Maybe we can like make sense of these, make some more meaningful values in here.
I think, yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to pull it off that gray background to sort of make sure that users know it's affiliated with the graph. This is very huge on a 14 by 40 screen. So maybe even, again, this is how you plan content, obviously, around the graphic design. Never do that. We could probably get a 5th value in here if we wanted to, because that's a massive, these are massive numbers. That's
I'm zooming in, yeah, it's pretty big. I mean, it's bold and impressive. Like I like the feeling that I get from it.
So we get some pretty meaningful statistics in here right now, or values rather, not a statistic. Job is 7.
Okay.
You know, and I feel like for users, that's really compelling because, well, job is 7, but what if job 8? You know, what if job 8, honey? And even worse, what if job 6? What if job 5? You know, you mess around in life and you don't work hard and you don't be successful, your job could be 4.
I like it.
We want users to think about that, you know?
It's inspired me to create another alert about it. What can it be around? Can it be something like your job score is at risk, maybe, of dropping to 6?
What if job could be 6? Your job score is at risk. Yeah. Currently 7. What if 6?
Yeah.
And it's sort of, I think like a question mark would be really effective in there.
A little personalization, maybe.
Oh, I like that. Can we I guess we can capture the user's first name because we have all of the data about them that exists. Oh, I've got a great
Work
fifth
harder.
column. Health.
Oh, health. I forgot about health.
Health is a big one for some people. Not me. Maybe you.
Uh,
I don't know. It's kind of boring.
I was into health, before COVID.
Yeah. I was gonna make a joke out of that and I couldn't get there. I wouldn't mind if
Friendships.
Figma
Oh,
dynamically resized all my text here.
there might be a way to do it.
I get it. We're in a web environment. Well, usually with XD, you hold shift and it'll just, rather than trying to stretch your layout, it'll actually just sort of resize it more like an image. But honestly, that almost never comes into play, only right now because I'm not measuring anything. I'm just sort of like hammering it out. These titles are sitting here now. I don't think that they're part of the final design, though. If these circles could stand entirely on their own in terms of delivering information, I'd be really happy about that. So health, good.
What kind of a? I
Because a
think
lot of
I
people
think.
would say like I'm in good health, but they don't know that.
What
You know what I
about
mean?
what kind of emojis like dictate your health?
I think that there's a health emoji. I think it's like a temperature icon. I think that there's a doctor now too.
Ooh, there's one of these swizzle sticks. A medical swizzle snake stick. The snake
The
cane.
snake and staff.
The snake and staff. It has a name
The
that's
snake and
cool.
stick.
The snake
Yeah, it does.
stick. I mean, when I think about health and doctors and like pharmacists and stuff, the first thing that comes to my mind is a staff, and and close second is a snake. So I understand why this is used to represent like medical related things, because it's intuitive.
Well, it's because the first doctors are really just they beat the snakes off with a stick. That's how you kept people alive in the early days. You had
Good
to beat
old
the snakes off.
Yeah, good old fashioned, try and wrap around my stick, snake. Go ahead, try it. I'll hit you. I'll hit you with it. What was
You
that
know what?
episode of The
I read the
Simpsons?
I while we were talking, I read the real definition of the snake and the stick, and I also have the real name. Um, I'm not gonna read that out on air. I think it's better as snake and a stick. So anyway, sorry, this the snake stick. We got that in there.
Why is this this is a font. So why is it so pixelated?
That's a good question. It must be rasterized at a certain point. Perhaps these emojis just can't be vector for some reason because
They're too
it's not uniformly supported enough.
No, it
I'm
can be
assuming.
done. All those people draw iPhones out of CSS, so you can make a emoji.
Yeah, I know. The next version of Core or something like that is going to definitely be vector emojis with the gradients and the whole thing. I actually on that, since we're on a web design show, um, had to do did a app icon recently that had to be done in SVG as sort of like the company standard. So to do things like gradients and all that stuff became like a much more complicated measure in terms of getting it ready to deploy and hand off to other people and stuff like that. And that's what I did at work. Cool story. Cool stories, Brunt, they call me.
CSB.
All right, so we got these labels in here. We're going to get rid of them.
Okay, so this life.board could tell us that our health can inform us about our health, but what are we supposed to do about it? What are we trying to sell people here? Your health is rapidly declining.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. Now that we're deep into the app design, what is the CTA here? What's the call to action that this is going to actually
I
help
mean,
people in the
like
long
buy
run?
some Alpha Brain.
Alpha what? Alpha brain? Oh,
Alpha
right.
Brain. It's that stuff that Joe
That Joe
Rogan.
Rogan sells. Definitely
It's
gave.
that it
Yeah.
probably definitely works.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha Brain. The FDA's what the FDA doesn't want you to know.
All that science that they've been hiding from you. Take these pills. They come from cordyceps mushrooms I found in the woods. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's this whole thing is sort of like a Joe Rogan, Alex Jones style, pill push.
Where
Convincing people that they're going to die,
the agenda,
and then
yeah.
selling them what they need to not die.
I think the agenda is pretty clear. What else? Yeah, you're. What about Joe Rogan? What would he say is a metric of success?
Strength.
Yeah.
How much? How much
How?
lift?
Yeah. How much DMT you can do at once? How much elk meat you can eat at once? Maybe
Yeah.
DMT currently on hallucinogenics. How do you draw stuff in this pencil?
There's a pencil tool. It doesn't smooth very well. It just sort of draws exactly the line that you make.
Hmm.
How do you make titles for circles that aren't terrible? That's what I'm contending with right now.
You mean they don't look like they're centered properly?
Well, I mean, centering information in them is kind of a pain, but how do you put a title on these bad boys? I mean, obviously you just put the title on it, but it doesn't look great and
Yeah, it doesn't
that
look like
whole
it's
thing.
aligned.
It doesn't,
It's
does
an
it? Well,
optical
these are sort
illusion.
of inexact boxes, but yeah.
Maybe well, job's not aligned. Maybe
I mean, we could put them in cards.
I was gonna say you could cheat and put like some kind of shaded background on it somehow. It feels like it's
Well,
cheating a little bit.
maybe we could use a background color. And then at least you're associating with the element. So
It's a rough line, isn't it? It's got to be something.
yeah,
Something we can
it's
do about
funny
this
how
line.
quickly. Well, I mean, in the world of using products to draw these kind of things, all lines are perfect, and as soon as there's an imperfect line, it makes your brain go crazy because it feels so uncomfortable next to all the other perfect lines.
There's a bunch of options for the stroke. Ooh, you can put an arrow on the end. That looks pretty dumb.
Oh man, see, that says decline. Arrow down says you're getting worse. You need to buy some supplements.
Whoa, what's happening? Oh, that's a thing you can do.
That's helpful. I'm sure somebody was drawing and thought,
I
"Wicked! I'm
wonder
glad it did that."
I wonder how you'd like what kind of like cool prototyping animations can we do from this? Like did he's like
That's.
I mean, I don't think we can animate a line in Figma.
I would like to get some sort of progress indicators happening either inside or around these circles. Like before, I was trying to make the radial meter, but maybe there's another way. Maybe these change colors. Maybe these are all discrete colors, or that the text changes colors. Something so that we get a feel of temperature for the data that we're reading inside of them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Like a gradient.
A
What other kind
gradient
of
could be cool.
charts do we do? What other? So I'm trying to think of like how do we break this down even further? I'm gonna try to make
I
a
have a
bar.
component called My Recent Activity that I do want to
I
explore. I don't know if it's necessary because maybe it doesn't matter, but maybe through recent activity we can show how certain things are contributing to these values. Maybe.
Yeah, what is activity? Is it like spikes throughout the day of like stuff you when you buy stuff? Is it purchases?
Yeah, so they would have to be things
Actions?
that fit into these metrics. So specific sort of actions that fit under job, friendship, things owned, amount of money, and health.
What
So
if
I
we
mean, obviously it can't be anything, because if you just sat in a room and like looked at the wall, that's maybe not considered an activity. Although that could then I could see that data going into a column of sort of waste, you know?
yeah, what if we did like stacked bar chart of like breaking down the different things that you do
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and waste can be one of them. Wasted time.
Okay. Yeah,
Like I'm gonna need some
wasting.
help with these colors. I don't know if that's
Yeah, oh
looking
yeah, well,
proper there. What do
that's
we do
pretty
with
good.
this? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you
green,
could have
voltage,
like every
fourth.
hour of it's almost like another time scale of every hour of your day.
Or maybe it's showing you like,
It's
okay,
like,
hold on. Maybe this replaces the graph up top entirely. Because you could show a sort of, if you had 10 of these across, or one for each hour rather, you could break down how you utilized your time in that hour.
yep. Maybe that's a more detailed chart.
So should we ditch the line graph in favor of this awesome one?
I don't know. I feel like we should save the line graph in
It's
case we
pretty
want it.
compelling. These
You know,
different color
we're getting
lines.
somewhere.
We need like a cool Web 2.0 logo for Lifeboard. What's something that says like zest for life? Like surfing, maybe?
Surfing's good.
Hmm. Maybe more like a tombstone. I'm gonna go with that. Because again, we really want to let the users know that they are going to die soon, and that the way to get out of it is to sort of follow our comprehensive notification system.
Yeah, let us just run your life for you.
Exactly. Sign up for Lifeboard, and we will run your life for you. You can fully expect that we will improve your life through a series of notifications sent directly to your phone.
Yeah, so I'm actually changing this notification or this alert a little bit, and I'm going to say I'm going to add some kind of an option. That's going to be something like do this for me next time.
Yeah, we should talk about sort of like an automation integration sort of thing. I mean, we're just scratching the surface. I mean, this is a 2-3 year piece of software.
Oh, totally.
I've got a logo that I kind of want to pitch. I'm just fleshing it out here. we'll get some colors happening around these circles. Colors are really important. I was working in a situation on a dashboard where, I mean, I had to make the comment that maybe we shouldn't overutilize color because it feels like you're punishing the user.
Say that again?
Like that I was in a situation where I was explaining where I don't want to overuse color, like using red and green indicators, because I don't want to feel like I'm punishing the user, or we don't want to feel like we're punishing the user. So if a user logs into a wall of red icons and meters that are notifying them that they haven't done what we told them to do, that's an annoying experience. Like, we want to encourage them to use this through the dashboard. We don't want to punish them for not.
Yeah, I always don't like to use too many like red and negative things either when I'm doing stuff or designing something, because it is kind of like it can be pretty intense. Like when you're thinking of like warning messages or errors and stuff, it's like, how bad do we want to make this person feel? Like, what did they just do? Did they type their password wrong? Maybe we give them a little break.
Yeah, are they in trouble for what they've done here? Like, we just want to motivate people, not make them feel like they've done something wrong by using our piece of software, which nobody cares about. Not the one I was working on specifically, just like most pieces of software. It's a tool.
What do we got? All right, we have a lot of notifications coming on here. We could kind of go, I'm coming up with more and more ideas. You could have a little drop down with like options. I could make a drop down.
Just a little drop down.
Just a
hey, you guys,
big one.
You guys mind if I have a little drop down here?
Can I just what if I just
a little drop down here?
Completely drop it down? That doesn't look right. God, that's terrible.
I'm still in Illustrator. Hold on. I'll be back in 2 seconds to look at your terrible design.
I'm making a chevron. Yeah, chevron.
Oh, chevron. One of the more exotic shapes.
It's very exotic shape. It's a triangle without a bottom or a top or side.
It's an illegal shape as far as I'm concerned.
I think we're going to have some problems with it for sure, because this looks terrible with what I just did. No.
I'm sure it's fine.
Wow, that's so bad. It's really uneven. I'm a good designer. Normally I would get this from an icon set, but because we don't have one incorporated in our design system currently, I just threw this piece of garbage together, and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to paste it inside of this frame. And then when someone says, whoa, what about this? I'll be like, yeah, it's in the drop down. I thought of it. Look at that nice drop down. That's good looking.
It's a good drop down.
It's a little wacky.
It's just a little drop down. Okay, I've got a logo up here that I sort of want to move forward with.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just really want to drive it home to people that this is what you're here to deal with. So we'll just go ahead and slam that right on the bar. I'll actually copy it.
Lifeboard has been rebranded.
Maybe we should just call it soon.
Soon. I'm
It's
thinking
like
that.
Noom. It's like Noom, but it's about dying, not like
There it
getting
is.
better.
It's like Noom, but it's trying to just keep you alive because it's not going well.
All right, let's ditch Lifeboard. It's called soon.board. So,
Soon
done.
dot board. You're gonna die. Try to get ahead of it. That's kind of how I'm thinking of it. Um, so this has kind of given me a little bit more inspiration for our alerts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the life death parody that we have going on here right now. Parity, not parody, I guess. Drop shadow off. I'm still dropping that shadow over here. Get
And
out of there, good.
I think from like a business perspective, we're trying to make we're trying to use maybe I think fear is a really good motivator, and I think it's probably good
Mm-hmm.
for selling things.
Yeah, fear is a pretty good motivator. I mean, that's really what what this site is all about, is just kind of being terrified of your own sort of mortal existence, the fleeting amount of time that you have and what you're doing with it. You know, how is your job? Is your job a 7 or is it an 8?
Yeah, Nick, what's your job?
I don't know what my job is, man. I make pamphlets and websites on the weekends.
Here's your pamphlet, sir.
I find that no matter where you get in your career, like doing UX and digital stuff, there's always somebody around the corner that signs checks that is like, can you just do this small print thing for me? Can you help me out doing my PowerPoint? And you're like, yeah, I guess I do that too.
Hmm. It's just yeah, it won't be very much work. Why
Should
won't
we
this?
take a little halfway break here? A little 3 to 4 minute guy?
Oh, we should. All right. We're gonna take a minute break, and we'll be back. Stay tuned, folks. We're gonna come back. We got some great ideas for this life board, which is now more like a death board. All right. 2, 1. We're back, everybody,
Oh, we're
and
so
ready
back.
to roll.
We're here. We're in the cut. We took a break.
We're designing dashboards. We started off designing a dashboard for your life that was called life.board. And as we've been making our way through, we've realized we've pivoted, as they say, and we're
Yeah.
kind of positioning ourselves sort of in the more of the death space. You know, it's a steady market, guaranteed, and it's growing. It's an industry that's been doing very well this past year, I think.
Mhm.
So we're gonna try and help you keep an eye on what's going on in your life that's sending you towards an early grave. And this dashboard is going to give us the information and the data and the visualizations to do just that.
That's a perfect summary. I don't know if we can sum it up better than that.
Perfect summary. Okay, so
perfect summary, A+.
We've got a pretty,
as the clients usually do.
We've got a strong strategy, no boring metrics, and we want to quantify. This is quantifying you as a human with relation. I'm going to just say death metrics, if I can spell.
Death tricks.
Death
tricks.
And this is something you might look at once a day, but we're going to send you helpful alerts. And they're going to be sponsored, obviously, so that we make money.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of our sort of company philosophy here, I think, is that happiness comes through products and money and sort of job titles and cars and, cool things like, boats and...
Yeah, this is basically what you learned in school. Be a good, happy employee and you make money.
Totally.
Okay, what are we doing? So we're positioning ourselves a little bit different, and we're talking about what can we do to these numbers on our dashboard to jazz it up. And we've got these data points on this time scale here, a graph, and what are we doing with that? How do we make this look good? We've got a good handle on our metrics. I think I can see these, I can see ourselves adjusting these as we go, as it often happens, but job, friendships, this is pretty good.
Exactly. And it's hard to explain to viewers, but these were actually like a product of sort of a deep client engagement, or sort of a deep research, project. Of course, we were the clients, sometimes you got to be the client. So these are all very important numbers. We know that. So we got to figure out how to make them compelling. People respond to colors. People love colors. Green is good. Red is bad. That's one way to make values compelling. Because really you want to capture the stuff at a visual glance. I see 7.
Mm-hmm.
But how do I know 7 is bad or good?
I don't know, Nick.
I don't know. Let's figure that out. So something like 187 of 300, we have a definitive number there. So that's where we get to bring in our good friend.
Are you going to say what I think you're going to say? Yes.
The radiometer.
I want to use it.
I've been dying to use that since we started the show. I pretty much started the whole thing with radiometers.
I'm the pie chart police at my work.
Like you're against pie charts?
I say no. I block any tickets to do with pie charts. They are blocked forever. No, it's not really.
They're not great.
But I have learned, from the market research experts that I work with, they don't like pie charts either, except for percentage things. Now I can't unlearn that, so I'm forever doomed to be miserable. The more you know.
Well, it's sort of a hard case to make. I've actually tried to make this case before, but people don't really care at the end of the day what the specifics of the value are most times. In something like analytics or something like that, it's probably very relevant. However, when you're talking about a dashboard like, X of Y sort of thing, you really just need to see how high that meter is. And a pie chart does not contribute to that whatsoever.
It looks like you're making a clock.
Well, what I'm trying to do here is stroke inside, stroke center. I can't center that stroke on an incomplete object. So what I want to do is sort of get this object fit in here and give it that red color.
Ooh.
And what you end up with is sort of a dynamic object that you can adjust on the fly. So that's actually wrong. That would be more like 137. And we're going to flip that.
Are you doing the math? I can't help myself when I do stuff like that. It's gotta make a little bit of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then that's the thing that someone will call out too. And you're there to present all your like cool designs, and then they're like, this doesn't add up. I know it's. Oh, these alerts look terrible. While you're doing that, I'm gonna fix these.
Fix those up.
There we go.
So that's not great, but it fits. And we'll make that a very pale color. You can assign a second stroke. I do sort of appreciate when you assign like strokes and fills to this. It's sort of akin to CSS, where you can add multiple stroke elements or you remove multiple stroke elements as opposed to just like one contributing factor. Allows you to do cool things like. Sorry?
I think of CSS a lot when I'm designing in Figma. Just with the way frames work and the auto layouts and groupings. I think that's well, you know it too. That's some experience that's definitely that's experience that's paid off for me over and over and over again throughout my career, I gotta say. Just front end development. Not that I would be any good at it anymore.
Well, I agree because
but you get it.
Your goal in UX design is to make something that your development team can make. And I think if you're just coming out of left field saying like, no, I think this is a really cool custom element, or I've checked some stuff out, and you're not really paying attention to like how this stuff comes together, you're going to have a lot of troubles. I mean, you know what it's like. This used to be a problem back in the day. You show up to get something developed and you've created this wacky design in Photoshop that you as a designer think is just the bee's knees and nobody can possibly make it. I think for designers, it's essential that you have some sort of understanding of like front end HTML5 CSS stuff. And it's even more complicated nowadays. I mean, it's not HTML5 CSS anymore. It's React front ends. It's understanding grid systems and sort of more complicated CMS systems. And that's what designers should think. Rant of the day. Here's what you need to know.
I agree, Nick.
Know those things.
And I'm glad I don't have to deal with...
You should be able to write CSS.
You should be able to write a little CSS and understand it. I'm glad I don't have to deal with React and all that jazz anymore. The full extent of like, we were using like Sass and less, which was awesome. That's like componentized CSS. It's like making components is like a lot like using CSS and like less or Sass with the variables. And especially like with responsive design and stuff, it's a pretty good analogy. But knowing how stuff works and how stuff comes together, if you could do front end CSS and HTML and like basic, like set up a WordPress site and just mess around with the block, like the loop that do they even call it the loop anymore? I don't know, but just even being able to cut and paste like snippets and understand like how dynamic content from a CMS like looks like in code, like little code snippets and tags and whatnot, and then how that gets displayed on the front end of the website. Understanding how all of those pieces work together and like will help you understand databases and dynamic content and how to design for it. I think it's super valuable for me, like every day, just being like, oh, if you do this, and then that's what happens in the back end. And if we want this data to be searchable, then we need to put it in separate fields so that it can be like parsed and whatnot, and blah blah blah. So yeah, the whole learn to code thing.
Yeah, I've gotten laughed at for calling CSS and HTML code, but I think everybody should feel comfortable calling it coding.
It's code enough for me.
It's code enough for me. I'm writing letters and putting brackets around things to create not statements, but
it's a markup language.
It's a markup language.
I was talking to one of our developers the other day.
It's a markup language.
It's a markup language. Hypertext. It's like text, but it's fast. Look at what I'm doing.
It all comes from rich text too. Like HTML at one point in time was just rich text format, and they're like, oh, well, we need this new format, and we're going to add a bunch of tags to it. Because back in the day, like if you did like WordPerfect in DOS in the mid 90s, this is the deepest throwback I have. If you're running like word processing on DOS machines, to bold something, you actually had to put bold tags around it.
Really? Like, was it like Markdown?
I don't know what the definition of Markdown was, but like you would look at it in a view, like you would type it, and then you would look at it in a view that was markup view, and you were putting tags around things and etc. And then so HTML was the next version of that, where it was like you could put more variables associated with your text. So now you could do color because the operating system could support it. I've got some colors around it. I'm starting to get proud of this design. This one took a long time. It can be tough during the show to like finish a thing, but this is entertaining. So obviously job is red.
We're getting there. Oh, 7? Okay.
7's not good.
I got you.
And it's like, and somebody might say like, that doesn't mean anything to users because they don't have a value to compare it to. Like, what does 7 mean? And I think that's at the point in the board meeting where we stand up and you look them in the eye and you go, shut up.
You don't know our users like I do.
You don't know what our users want. We tested it. We tested it with a whopping 8 people.
We tested it. We did focus groups. We did NPS. That's what everyone wants.
What's NPS?
No, I'm joking. That's net promoter score. You might have seen it hanging around the internet. It's a.
I haven't, but I'm going to put it on my next proposal. So
if you've ever been asked to do to do a survey or provide your feedback and gotten a thing that's it's an 11-point scale. It goes from 0 to 10, and it's basically like how would you recommend this or something. And the whole thing it works is like you're supposed to try and increase that number over time, but it's just technically not very good. I mean, how do you rate something from 0 to 10? So like you got 11 different numbers. It's like, I like this 3.
It's funny because you and I
recommend this 3.
You and I both met in our first sort of online web role position. And we have been talking about that ever since that very first year of how do you do a survey and ask somebody to rate something out of 10? Like, in what world does that make sense to anybody? Like, is that number effective? Like, do you ever feel a 7 about something?
Yeah, and like, does 7 to me mean 6 to you?
So that's where we get the benefit of graphic visualizations here, because by making the circle red, we have told users that's a bad number.
They know it's bad, yeah.
They know it's bad, that they know that the number needs to go higher. I haven't mentioned gamification too much on this stream because I was kind of trying to avoid it, but this is a very sort of gamified progression mechanic. In fact, I find a lot of infographic and dashboard stuff is sort of video game adjacent, in that Your goal is to make the numbers go higher and all the colors turn to green. You understand that that's your task and how to do it. So when you interact with a dashboard like this, when you interact, I believe that when you interact with data visualizations like this, it's actually like eliciting an emotional response from the user. Take like a really sort of, oh man, yeah, what if time is just a skull in our visual language?
What, a different skull maybe?
Could be, but like just that's the icon for time in the soon.board creative Bible in the brand kit. Oh, I like the arrow down. Yes, like you're trending down. So anyway, yeah, back to colors and values. It actually elicits like an emotional response from a user because they feel like they're doing bad or they feel like they're doing good. Um, think about when you log into something like Wealthsimple or Robinhood. You see a graph, you get an immediate impression of what that graph means, and you understand if the numbers are high or the numbers are low. They're usually in green. You don't actually see red in applications like that because red feels bad.
Yeah, you don't want to make so that this would mean this would be bad. This would mean a very bad thing.
Yeah,
If you had
red
a
down. Yeah,
big,
emergency bad.
so okay. So this would be bad.
Uh,
I don't, I don't,
this would be a bad,
I
yeah.
don't know how to undo
This
it.
example meter that I got over here, I'm just going to throw it up on top of the graph. See how this goes from blue to green?
I like it.
But what is it? What do you get out of this? That this is 75% full, or
I,
that there is something happening between this value and this value where the color
the
changes?
the colors are wrong to me, but to me it's like if it was going from red to green, it would mean like, oh, it's improving, or vice versa. So I think the
Mm-hmm.
green and the blue is not appropriate, but it's trying to me. I'm getting something out of it that's um, it's just adding. It's just another dimension.
A new galaxy,
It's kind of like the faucet where it goes from like
intergalactic,
cold to
planetary.
hot.
Yeah, it's always cold to hot. There might be better schemes out there. I also too, in terms of accessibility, these aren't great colors at all. Um, for people with color
The
blindness.
yellow wouldn't be the greatest, would it? The
I
this
talk about colorblind a lot. I
goldenrod.
think we both do in our jobs. We talk about people dealing with color blindness.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like search for a term that's more appropriate than colorblind,
Yeah.
but it's
I
not
wonder.
there. It's like those hard of color,
Yeah,
maybe.
like differently of colored seeing. I don't know. I
differently
have color
differently
blindness.
oculared. Pardon?
Yeah, I have color blindness of like
What?
the most. Yeah, I just found out last year
I've
of
known you for 15 years.
the it's the most basic one. So it's like the least
Of
bad one
course.
you could have. But I see green. So for me, it's like green and gray, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes confuse me, and purple and blues when you get like into that royal blue and like royal purple kind of area,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of look like a royal
Oh,
blue,
between like,
like
yeah.
purple. If something's purple, I'll see it as blue, I
Can
guess is what
you
I'm trying to
pop
say.
to my view for a second here?
I am.
Are you looking at my view?
Sure am.
So,
Oh
is it
yeah.
this kind of green that's you're starting to lose the green gray thing?
It was darker. No, it's dark green. Or or
Like
or
in
or,
here.
or more it would be like dark gray I see as green. Yeah, there it was just getting in there. I can tell
Do
when
you know what
it's
would really do you know what would really mess you up is dark gray with a
that.
little bit of green in it.
Yeah, I can tell when it's when it's not when I feel like I can tell when I'm seeing it differently than other people. Like there,
Hmm.
we're getting it's confusing to me to look at that color a little bit.
So what do you think about this color blue?
Uh
What about this purple? Are you seeing them correctly?
yeah, you're switching, right? I can tell that, yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I have never gotten to do testing with a user with any kind of color blindness where I could sit and talk to them about it. So
Mine wouldn't
where
really.
do we put that?
My kind
Actually,
wouldn't affect anything anyway.
I gotta say though, that's gonna go ahead. Knowing that about your health history is going to affect your
Shit,
score.
I knew that was coming. Well, that's fair. It is
So we're gonna go from good question mark to okay, double ellipses.
it's a negative. It's a fault of mine
It is
that
a fault.
I
And you know
live
what?
with.
I'm gonna go ahead and put you down to 13 friends because I don't want flawed individuals in my
Yeah, that's
circle.
okay. We have
I'm
a
sorry.
we have our kind of a more sort of professional-ish relationship, I guess
Part
here.
of professional relationship. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We hung out once and it didn't go great, so we just
Yeah,
work
but
together now.
we work together, I guess, with design stuff.
If we could have some sort of like meta, sort of like improv relationship on this show, it should definitely be that we secretly can't fucking stand each other.
Like those guys on Mythbusters, apparently.
Apparently, they actively hated each other and they used to like freak out and stuff.
That must be fun.
That'd be a good job.
It's like that looks like
So,
the
like,
most one of the most fun jobs in the world, being on like a TV show where you just like mess with stuff and then you hate your co-host, so it isn't fun. I almost feel like that's a crime they should get in trouble for. Wasting a cool
I think
job.
a waste of a cool job. Yeah.
They're gonna get a
Um,
fix.
having enough self-importance to think that your fun time TV show warrants yelling at people is not a life for me. Although, I mean, we kind of came from that, like agency lifestyle. Like, remember the idea of working in marketing
Yeah.
and marketing people, and that used to be what you did. That's how you got work in our field. And then it sort of shifted from marketing into like, web design, which I guess is now UX.
Yeah. And then you circle back to marketing and it's all crazy. And there's TikTok and you're like, get me out of this.
Get me out of this. I
Get
just
me
want to
out of
make a
here. What is this?
product. I am glad that I have a marketing background though.
Yeah.
Like it's something that you can speak to in a meeting.
Ooh, okay.
What do you got going on up here?
But the little Elon, I'm just trying to find it's getting a little negative, and I was just trying to find a little positive motivation with the world's
Oh, I get
richest
it.
techno king, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Techno king of Tesla. Who else is cool? Who's a good
Who's a
person?
cool I was having this issue the other day. Who are the cool tech people right now? Like, and I'm not talking about in design influencers on Twitter, but like who are the movers and shakers of the UX world?
I don't know. Jared Spool is pretty, he's a pretty rad guy. What about the founder of Twitter? This guy. He's
Is
pretty
that
cool.
Jack Dorsey? No.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He looks
like a streamer.
He looks like a
he looks like he plays Rust on stream.
We've got a
Who's the Irish guy? Jacksepticeye.
Yeah.
All right, we're starting to get some colors in here. And I like it. I mean, amount of money, we could actually list out the amount of money, but again, I think we're about comparative statistics and sort of blind ambiguity here.
Yeah. It's more about like the relationship between all of these things, right?
And the relationship between all of these things creates a higher level value that we then see on the graph. Or maybe we're graphing sort of your performance across the day for these specific points.
Yeah, or maybe you get a you have any kind of like, you're running at like, does this aggregate up to like a current
Let's
score?
check this. Checking the stream real quick. We have viewers. What up, viewers? Don't feel afraid to say hello in chat. Ask us questions. I would love if this show was viewers asking us to design things for them. Like I could do that all day. I would love it. It's like I have a struggling Airbnb and I don't know what to do with it anymore. I have a struggling sort of like UFO themed Airbnb and I need a website. What would you guys do? I need an app.
I want to make a UFO themed Airbnb. That's for sure.
That would be pretty cool. That was what came off the top of my head. Not that I'm thinking about starting one, although we could.
I'll call it Area 52.
And in this economy, it's $350 a night. No, if we started on a border town between US and Canada, so you have to isolate there between, visiting your family, you can charge like $5,000 a night.
Wow.
That's what they're doing. How do I round corners in this horrible app? Just kidding, Figma. I think you're great. I just want you to be better. I want you to be better so you can replace everything that I work with. I work a lot in Illustrator and the Adobes, and I like to build my own assets, and I enjoy drawing and iconography and all that stuff. And Illustrator's always kind of been king for that. And I'm starting to feel like it's not anymore. I think Illustrator's really complicated and could be done better.
Okay.
And people would say, well, there's Procreate and you can draw in Figma and stuff. And it's like, yeah, there's not the range of things that you can do. But there are so many cool things that you can do in Illustrator and XD as well. That would be so much more accessible for so many people if it just had like a 2021 UX review in terms of how people used it and what they want to see out of it. What are you doing? What do you got going on? I'm watching the stream, so there's like this 4-second lag.
I'm making I'm just kind of doing like a mood board for like status of positive and negative. Just felt like we needed like some nice shapes, some nice even shapes, like a check and an X. This is this is just what I planned on handing off to you and just saying, kind of. This
like
is
go make it good.
Yeah, this like yeah. I've been inspired here. So when we talk about so when we talk about alerts and automation and positive and negative reinforcement, we've got a little bit of an art direction or inspiration to go by here.
Okay, so we're thinking like normally iconography, symbols, things that are sort of informational based graphics on computers are usually really like sort of balanced and symmetrical and straight, but where this is more of sort of just like a willy-nilly kind of thing, that's a brand statement. Like we're going from just this isn't a bad X. This is like maybe this is what the product should be looking like. Is what I'm thinking you're saying?
Yeah, something like that.
I'll leave it uneven.
There we go. I don't know why it's so hard to. Here we go.
So, okay.
Account suspended. What did I just do?
Account suspended?
I'm trying to steal other people's accounts, not mine. Ooh.
Oh.
I just put that inside my... Here we go. Let's just get this inside the component.
Hey.
So we can do stuff like this, right? And then, we have our main component and we hide the image, but then when we want to have a different instance of it, we can be like, here's what it would look like with an image. I'm actually going to move that like that. Yeah.
We should do an entire episode about exactly what you're doing right now, is efficiencies and design systems.
Like CSS.
Like it's hard to like yuck about design systems, but they're important and really interesting, I think, for design people.
Well, I've been working with other people to make and manage one for the last year, and it's not something I've ever thought of before in terms of like doing it for the long term. Like you kind of like do your projects and then it's done and it goes away. But then now that I'm working on the same thing for forever, it's like I've got to be able to like whip together new features pretty quick.
That's kind of true. I mean, in a vendor sort of situation, I know I work with new clients constantly. The building a design system is something that you have to budget for, so you have to charge your client for it. You know,
Fair.
and saying like, well, hey, look, we want to spend like a week and a half and we're just going to figure out how to create a file system that we can maintain over time. Maybe if it's a phased approach, that gets a little bit easier, but yeah, I mean, asking clients to pay for that stuff is difficult. You usually just end up like taking it on yourself to make better, I guess.
Yeah, and like
At least you do, because you're the best.
I guess it depends on what you're doing too. It might not even make sense.
Can I give this a rounded corner value? Oh my God, you can. Look at it.
What, the
Look at it.
picture? Look at what?
Look at my line on the graph.
Oh my God. How did we not know how to do that? It's been 2 hours.
So it's a rounded, you can give it a rounded edge. I actually thought you could only do this with complete objects. So
I thought I was doing
it
that.
makes sense with a square because all of those vertices are connected. There's 4 points. So when you go to make it rounded, it knows what to do. I didn't think it would know what to do on a line like that. So cool. We get our inaccurate lines.
I love it and hate it at the same time. But most of all, I love it. Let's get rid of this stupid arrow. This is actually starting to look pretty good within the last 5 minutes. This this card with the alert actually doesn't look awful. Or the card with the picture in it. It just kind of goes in.
I want to keep this file because I want to be able to copy and paste these out to do real work in my life soon. It's like, oh shit, no, I have an alert system. Ian made it one night on stream. Hold on, let me go grab it.
It's what's the opposite of, you know how there's tech debt, there's UX or design debt too. I create it when I do if I do something really quick and I don't maintain the design system properly, and then I have to come back later and redo it. But it's just kind of, you live and learn and try and make the choices that you think are the fastest at the time. But you're making the opposite of design debt. You're like design investment, I guess. You're investing in your future of design by making these components. You just come back and steal them.
Well, like, I mean, but that's money and it matters. I think if you're design oriented, or I mean, this is part of a larger conversation that's really boring. But if you're part of a design oriented organization, like you can utilize things like that. Like, let's do component based design. Let's do this. Let's do that. But it sort of comes from, I think, a full organizational push to think like that. Squiggly lines on a graph. Okay, we're coming to a big problem, or at least I'm coming to a big problem that I often have with colors is I have too many colors. And when you have too many colors, they start to mean nothing. I think blue works as a good base here.
Blue is a nice base.
We have some graph lines. Maybe those can be black. Maybe they should be black. Maybe one should be blue, and that's sort of our pulse line because everything else is blue. Do you know what? Let's scrap high level data points on this graph, and it's just an EKG that comes from your Apple Watch.
It's like you actually know you are dying right now.
No, you are. Here's how quickly you're dying. Can we multiply like your EKG against your heart rate and divide that against your age and get some sort of number that says how soon it is? There used
Must
to be
be
a
able to.
site, Death Clock. It was like one of the first memes,
I remember that.
deathclock.com, and you could put in your birthday and it's still the exact same site. Holy shit, it's in a 600 pixel wide container. Date of birth, 1984. Day of birth, 16. Month of birth, September. I don't want to tell anyone my birthday.
Yeah,
That's
don't
close
do
enough to
that.
getting
You
my
get
ID.
you get swatted.
I'll get swatted. I get swatted while I'm showing my feet on cam. Mood, pessimistic, sadistic, or optimistic. I would say I'm optimistic. I don't want to die. I don't know what my BMI is. Check your death clock. Seconds left to live, 1,307,000. 1 billion.
1 billion minutes of life left on this planet.
Hey, do you think if we got in touch with the administrators at the death clock and said, hey, you run one of the original memes on the internet, can we redesign it for free? Do you think they would say yes?
I would hope so. If I have any faith in humanity left, I would hope they would say yes.
Copyright 2021, the death clock, all rights reserved. Let's put it in who.is and see if
Let's get that. Let's get Death Clock in the chat. Let's get Death Clock. Death Clock on the show. Can we get
hey,
them?
check it out. Yo, Twitter. Does Twitter fam want to get out there and get deathclock.com onto our chat? That'd be dope.
Yeah, we need the Hi There army to get out and get in touch.
And we would really love to get on 10K likes on this stream. So if everybody watching, we're at 2 likes right now. So if we could just get a quick 9,998 likes, that'd be so good. That'd really help us out with the YouTube algorithm, get us popping out there in YouTube live world.
Yeah.
I should actually say, dudes, the people that are watching, please hit that like button. Please, when we're talking about visualizing data and comparative statistics that make you feel good or bad, please hit that like button. Also, link to our Twitter is in the description. You can check out Hi There tweets and Ian and I's account. Go look at it. Do you have a cat in there?
I got a cat. I got a little design cat. Come on, come design with us, Winston. You're interrupting.
He's like, mew. Make sure your fonts are large enough to read on a mobile device. Mew.
Don't forget the touch targets.
Don't forget your touch targets. Legally speaking, they need to be 36 by 36 to be considered accessible. Mew. Design cat.
What was that, Winston? Meow.
I'm sorry, Winston, did you say something about user metrics? Mew. Oh, okay. He just wants food. Cat.
Okay.
We have a kitten right now, and it likes to get up at 4 a.m. and absolutely wreck shit around my house, and it's horrible.
4 a.m.
She's like a little poltergeist, like a little phantom, and she wakes up at 3:30 and 4 and literally runs along the walls. It's wild. I don't know how I feel about this graphing element anymore. I feel like we've been trying to make it matter, but whatever. I guess we're just designing dials and whatnot.
Oh, well, what else do we have?
I think that's it for now. We're coming up on time here.
Left. Yeah, I mean, we really started falling into place here over the last few minutes, I feel like. The graphs are looking
ain't that
great.
so the way?
The graph, regardless of whatever it does, looks pretty good. What's this do? Oh, neat. I can edit it.
Man, that's very fun.
The graphs are looking great. We have these, what do we got here, Nick? Some metrics feeding in.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we didn't get a ton done tonight. We should come back and maybe revisit
I was
this.
gonna say there's more to be done here. We're just kind of
No, I
like
want
kicking
to
off.
the soon.com brand or the soon.board brand. I believe in it, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What if we made this? We
We've
should talk
got
about that off stream.
yeah, let's discuss what we're doing here. But soon.board, a dashboard for your life. Folks, your life's getting shorter every second, and we want to help you monitor exactly what those inputs are that are
Uh, mm,
reducing your life.
I think the marketing language is something more like we want to help connect you with the products and services that are going to help you extend your life. But sorry, keep going.
Extend your life, add years to your life, and also quality to your life, or something.
Well, I mean, as a brand statement, yeah, I would say internally as a company, we're really not concerned about the quality of people's lives. But that's
Oh no,
again,
no,
off
no.
stream.
We're
That's a business point.
no. The internal slide is we are using fear as a motivator to sell products to people that they don't need.
Exactly. Products they wouldn't have otherwise have known that they need to purchase soon.
Correct.
That's
It's
soon.board.
it's timely. It's
Frightening.
frightening. This is gonna work. We've got something.
Soon.board. All right, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much to our very few viewers. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Of course, all our links are in the description there, so please check us out. We will be back next Thursday, maybe sometime there within, but for sure every Thursday night.
Yep, follow us on Twitter at Hi There Tweets and check out our channel. And like Nick said, be sure to subscribe because we got some cool clips popping up there soon. You never know where we're going to pop in for an impromptu after dark session and live every Thursday. Otherwise, coming at you. So we'll see you again soon, folks. Good night.
Is that it? Should I say good night too? Good night.
Good night. Yeah, it's okay. Now I'm going to click it for sure. Good.
Good
All right,
night.
bye. All right.